Hi guys. Okay, I'm gonna make it so hopefully I can see comments. Hold on. Okay. Somebody comment when you get in so I can see if I can see these comments or not. I'll grab my phone. Ooh, I see comments. Oh, good. People are getting on. Okay, I still can't see comments. Hold on. Is anybody commenting yet? Oh, I see a comment. Okay, I made it work. I haven't done that trick yet with the home button to see if... Okay, let me turn you off my phone. Sorry, I'm kind of a hot mess this morning. And I will tell you why. Okay, so, get to the top of my notes. So, I'm kind of a mess because... And I'm not going to cry. I swear I'm not going to cry. We're like 5 seconds in, I'm already going to cry. So, a lot of you guys follow me, and I'm so embarrassed I'm crying. So last night, part of my brand is Farm Fancy, and I have a pig, Pork Chop, who has been my baby for like the last year, and we had to put him down last night, and so it's been like the most depressing 24 hours ever. And then this morning, I got my Christmas cards in the mail, and they have pork chop on them, and it's just like salt in the wound. So, I'm going to try not to be a mess, and I'm going to pull myself together and start. But, bear with me. If this is a disaster, I'm just blaming it on my dead pig. Okay, I'm ready. So, for those of you who do not know who I am, and now that you think that I'm like a disaster, my name is Mary Brown Cyree, and I know you all probably thought my last name was Syria. It's Cyree. And I am a Ruby Crown Princess. I live in, and I'm not going to read the comments right now because then I'll just start crying again. I live in just a small town right south of Oklahoma City, south of Norman, called Goldsby. I mean, it's like, we've like 300 people here. I live down on this little farm that I have made fancy, hence the Farm Fancy, and so that is a little bit about me. I've been in SeneGence for a little over 2 years now, and when I started, I signed up, and I was like, I'm not doing, like, if you ask, I told my upline, I said, if you ask me about, I just read a comment, and I'm going to cry again, if you ask me to sell this or to do a party, like, that's not happening. So I will delete you from all forms of social media. So we're not going to talk about it. And my sponsor said, okay. She added me to a few groups, but she never bugged me about it. And, but I saw what other people were doing. I think I was in Jenny Hemingway's team group. And, oh, can you not hear me? Let me get closer. Sorry. And I started seeing, you know, what other people were doing and the possibilities, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. And 12 months later, my team did almost $3 million in sales, and so I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. So that's kind of how I got started. I did not mean to get started doing it. It just happened. And so if you have any personal use people out there who don't want to do the business, just say, okay, add them to the groups, and I guarantee that they're watching. Those will probably end up being your rock stars. So in the last 6 months, branding has become one of my absolute passions. I love branding. I love talking about branding. I love helping other people find their brand. And it wasn't something that I really thought that much about when I first started. My business name was actually Smooch for the first 18 months that I was in business, and I liked Smooch. It worked, but it wasn't really that authentically me, which I will get into a little bit later. But that's, you know, we moved down to this little farm, and Farm Fancy came about, and that's when I really learned about branding and how important it is for your business. And so that is what I'm going to share with you guys today. One of the things that I love about SeneGence is how Joni always, hi everyone, I'm sorry that I'm not looking at the comments like I should be. I'll go back and look. I just didn't want to start crying again. I didn't realize I was going to start off as such a hot mess. But one of the things Joni always says is that yes, we're SeneGence independent distributors, but this is your business. You need to make it yours. And I love that they encourage us to get creative, to find our own brand within SeneGence and to work it. And so it just makes it more fun. So if you're not doing it, start, because I guarantee you're going to have so much more fun when you kind of find your brand and your voice. So I'm just going to go over kind of some of my top tips and thoughts about branding and kind of my perspective about it. And I hope that it's helpful. I'll go back and go through comments and answer any questions. So now that I think I'm done crying. So now I think I can look at comments. So number one, your branding is the personality of your business. Like, that's what it is. So if you think about it, like when you walk into a party and you don't know anybody, you want to come in and talk to people and you want them to be like, wow, that girl is outgoing, she's personable, I would love to talk to her again, and they remember you. That's the goal. So branding is kind of the same thing. When you meet people, you often only have one chance to make that first impression, and you want it to be a good, strong first impression. You don't want to have no branding or personality with your business and then forever be known as the girl with RBF. Your business doesn't want that. RBF is way more endearing to people and not businesses. So you need to give your business that personality by thinking about branding and creating that. So that when you do meet people, you're giving off that strong first impression. Branding is also what is going to help you connect with people on a more emotional level. There's obviously people up and down the street, all over the place. I mean, depending on where you are. Where I am, everyone and their dog is a SeneGence distributor. So you want to, what's going to keep them loyal to you and not just ordering from who's most convenient or who has a better deal that's going on, is by connecting with someone on an emotional level. So by having that brand and having that personality, your business is going to be able to make that emotional connection with other people, which is what's going to get them coming back and sticking with you and being a long-time customer and hopefully eventually a team member. I always say that your best team members come from your best customers. That's always been my experience. Branding is also going to help you stay focused, which is hard to do. You get so many ideas. It's like, you get on Pinterest and you just start pinning everything and it's just a disaster. So as much as you don't want your business to have RBF with no personality, you don't want your business to have multiple personalities either. So once you figure out your branding, you want to stick with it and, stay focused with it, which is easier. I can run with a theme, and that's basically what branding is a theme for your business. Hi everyone. I don't even know that I've said hi to anyone. I'm really embarrassed about my first 30 seconds on this video. And last but not least, branding is going to set you apart from other people. Like I said, everyone and their dog around here sells lip scents. And so my branding is what's going to set me apart. Around here, I'm the pig lady. People, I have people who have bought from me and they've told me, we keep buying from you so that we can come pick it up from your house and we can play with all your animals. Because they bring their kids. Their kids love to go out and play with, I've got chickens and turkeys and peacocks, and I have 4 pigs. So Pork Chop was my, prized possession. He was like a 25-pound potbelly pig. He's who died yesterday. And then I've got Mac, who is just my tiny little 2-pound pig, who is he's the new winner. He's my new top pig. And then I've got a couple 300-pound pigs. So they come out and they play with the animals, and I've made that connection with them. It sets me apart from other people. Tip number 2, spend time creating a focused and intentional brand. It's just going to make your life easier. So one thing that I've done, let me pull up this picture, is, and I saw this in a video that Deidre Miller, I think is her name, Deidre M, but I think it's Deidre Miller's her actual last name. She did this in a webinar, and I stole it from her, and this has helped me so much. But it's basically like this little table that I made, and this is, I have one that's actually filled out, but it's how you know, everyone in their brand has specific colors that they use. You know, you want a color scheme. You want all of your graphics to have similar fonts. So I have this, and I have all my colors with, you know, there's like that code that makes a super specific color. I've got all of my colors, filled out, and then I've got my specific fonts. So when I go to make a graphic, I pull up this little table so that all of my graphics, I don't have to, it's easier to make them all flow. I can make a graphic now, and then in 3 weeks when I go make another graphic, it will match that other one, just because I always use the same colors, I always use the same font, and I use similar pictures that kind of flow with my brand. What else was I going to say? And these are the things that are also going to make you memorable. Kind of the goal is for you to create a brand where people start associating things with you. And so, you know, if I were to make a graphic without my name, without Farm Fancy on it, if Kristen Slough were to make a graphic with, for her business, and then say Callie Keeney made a graphic for her business, and none of us had our names on them, I bet that each one of you could match what business to each graphic, just because we've stayed consistent with our branding and we've made it memorable for people. And that's the goal, is you really want people to remember you. And one of the signs that you're doing your branding well is when people start tagging you in Facebook videos, or they start sending you stuff. So Dakota, she sent me this little pig necklace because she knows I love pork chop. I don't know how many videos. The first time I ever got this horribly awkward video of a chicken laying an egg from like the most graphic angle possible, I was like, nailed it. Like, I'm winning in the branding game. That's the goal, is for people to start making associations to you and your business. So that way, you're kind of always in the back of their mind. You want to get in their heads. Somebody said, what does RBF mean? That means resting bitch face. I've said that before on like a corporate training, but I didn't say what it meant, but I think I can say it here. It means resting bitch face. Or Google it, RBF. This next one, I think, is super important. This is where I feel like people kind of get stuck and they can't figure out what the problem is. So I want you to raise your hand. I know I can't see you. Actually, push the heart thing and tell if this is you. Do you ever look at your Facebook friends or your Instagram followers and you're like, why are they all Synergence distributors? Like, why don't I have any friends that are not Synergence distributors? This is especially a thing on Instagram, so I'm going to wait a minute and see if any of you have that issue, because I think I'm a little bit behind. So give me a heart if that has happened to you. Oh, yes, yes. 3 people? Normally I get so many hearts when that happens. But yeah, so if you are on your Instagram and you realize that all of your friends and your followers are Synergence distributors, it's because you need to work on defining your audience. And you need to be posting things geared towards your unique audience. You know, we always say that anyone with skin is a potential customer, which I think is true. But at the same time, if you're trying to, you know, reach everyone, you're going to connect with nobody. So you need to figure out what your unique audience is and make sure that you're posting and targeting them. And everyone has a unique audience that they're going to relate to. I know when I started, personally, my goal was to relate to like makeup artists, like some hot models, and as I've finally realized, I do not relate as much to those people. I relate to chicken farmers and pig people and rural people and That's fine. They need skincare and lipstick just as much as the rest of us do. So you need to be finding your unique audience. I was doing a training in Oklahoma a few weeks ago about branding, and the lady came up to me and she was struggling. She couldn't figure out what her branding was. So I asked her, I said, if you could, describe yourself in a hashtag, what would it be? And she was struggling, and she was struggling, and she couldn't figure it out. And finally she was like, if I'm being honest, my hashtag would be hashtag newly divorced hot mess. And I was like, you nailed it. Like, can you imagine? I bet there is a huge, let me see. Looks like, you think, I'm getting that it's blurry. Is this blurry for everybody? It's not it doesn't show that there's having problems for myself. So let me know if it's blurry for everyone else. Like I said, I live down here in a forest, so it's not ideal. And I told her, I said, you've nailed it. Like, I bet there is a huge population of middle-aged women who are just getting divorced, and they need a little red lipstick sass to get their mojo back. And so if you, and that's her unique audience, that's her truth, that's her season in life. And so if you just figure that out and you embrace it, I guarantee that you will be more successful than trying to make a group of people that are actually your audience, you're going to be more successful. Also keep in mind that if you're only posting on, Facebook and Instagram pictures of products, you're not posting other things, you are only reaching out to your SeneGence and LipSense audience. So I think that the goal is really you want to connect with those people who don't even realize that they're missing out on something. They don't know LipSense exists. They don't know SeneGence exists. Those are the people that I'm looking for, because those are the people who are going to grow my business. So when I'm taking a picture to post on my social media, I don't just take pictures of products. I will take a picture of my lipstick with one of my chickens in it, or some of my fresh eggs, or something about my farmhouse. And that way I'm able to reach out to people that are in, other parts of my audience. And so if somebody's going down and they're, people search on Instagram or Facebook, and what's my hashtag? My hashtag's Farm Fancy. But people are going along, I'm able to hashtag things like chicken farmer, or silky chickens, or farm life, that kind of thing. So when people are going through Instagram searching hashtags like that, they're going to stumble across my page because my pictures are relevant to all of that. And then I sprinkle in SeneGence, and it piques their curiosity, and they ask me about it. So instead of just, posting a blue red in your hashtag SeneGence, hashtag LipSense, hashtag blue red LipSense, hashtag lips, or whatever, you're really focusing in too tightly on that SeneGence LipSense audience, and I think that you're just going to get distributors and people who already have a distributor, those people, if that makes any sense. Let me see. Sorry I'm having to follow my notes so much today. I'm so scatterbrained after last night. One of the tricks, when you're thinking about hashtag, one thing that I like to do is picture hashtags as like tapping on the shoulder of your intended audience. And so I know a lot of people struggle with what hashtags to even use. It's hard to come up with hashtags. So if you think about it like tapping on the shoulder of your intended audience. So like I was saying, if you post a picture of a color and all your hashtagging is SeneGence, LipSense, blue red LipSense, all of that, you're basically tapping on the shoulder of a bunch of distributors. Whereas I want to tap on the shoulder of the chicken farmers, the farm people, the rural people, the boy moms. So when I take a picture, I hashtag those things because those are the people whose shoulder I'm trying to tap on. So that's always helped me figure out how to hashtag my stuff in a way that is going to grow your business and to bring other people in, not just other SeneGence people. I'm going to look at some of these comments and see if any was having trouble. I hope this is helpful. Normally I'm so much better with my words, but today it's failing me. It's all failing me. My next tip is to be authentic, and this is so important. Truth is always stranger than fiction. And when I say stranger, it's amazing. People love reality. When I first started as a distributor and was kind of looking at what other people were doing, I kind of tried to fit my persona to those people. And so when I started, I was like, okay, like everyone else in this world, I would watch Katie Enos's videos, which we all love. I would watch Lisa Tippin Morris's videos, and I was like, I can do that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be just an amazing makeup artist, and that was going to be my thing. And so I started doing that, and as much as I love makeup, I love putting it on myself, I have no business telling other people how to put it on. I mean, it's a pretty hard fail. So then when I realized that that was not going to be me, I was like, okay, who else can I be that is going to attract people? And so that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to set my sights a little bit lower, and I am going to just come across as a fully functioning human that has my shit together. That was the new goal. And that was a little bit of a harsh reality also when that failed. And so I tell a lot of stories because that's just how I talk. So when I first started with this new, like, I'm normal human, got my stuff together persona, I was doing a Facebook Live video for a party, and this was when I first started. You know, now it takes a lot of people for me to have my shit together. Like, I've got my 2 nannies, and my assistant. That didn't used to exist. So I had my kids that I was by myself. So I put them in a room so I could do this live video. And I'd given them like 10 bags of goldfish each, because I was like, surely that will keep them away from me for just 15 minutes. I just need 15 minutes. So I get ready, I get on, I'm doing this live video, and not 4 minutes into this video, my kids start screaming. And this wasn't like my brother's annoying type scream. This was like someone may or may not be dead in the next room kind of scream. So I shoot up from my video and I run to my room to see what's going on. And of course they're just fighting. So I start going back in. Well, Sailor follows me, and you can hear all of this. You can hear all of this in the video, but you can't see anything. So he follows me, and you can hear me in the video say something like, Sailor, you need to go back to your room until Mommy finishes her video. Then I will come and help you. And then he turns around. He accepted that, and he turned around. He runs face first into our door jamb and starts screaming. And I get him comforted, and he goes off, and I come back, and I finish my video. And I was like, this is not going to be good. So later when I go back to rewatch this video, and I didn't think it was going to do well. It ended up, I killed it. I did like $1,500 in sales for this Facebook video. I go back to watch the video, and when I stood up to go chase my children, you know, I really thought I was on top of things. And I'm halfway doing it right now. I had put a shirt on. I did all my jewelry. I had my earrings. I had my face done, my hair done. But I didn't put pants on. I just didn't, because I was like, no one's going to see me from here down, so we're just going to cheat the system, and we're not going to put pants on. And so when I stood up to run, I mooned my entire Facebook party. And this wasn't like, I'm way past the cute underwear cheeky situation. These were like Spanx hold my crap in type underwear. And so I mooned them. And then when Sailor ran into the door jamb, you couldn't see it, but you could hear it. And it basically sounded like I had like punched him. So I had to get back on and apologize to this party for mooning them and explain to them that I do not beat my children, that Sailor's just clumsy and ran into the door. And that's when I realized that I don't need to pretend to be anything that I'm not, that my reality is such a hot mess that it entertains the crap out of other people. So your authentic self is going to be way better than any persona that you can try to create for yourself. And you may think that your life is super lame, but I guarantee that it will entertain somebody else. This is why we all love reality TV. I love trashy TV. Give me all of the reality TV and I'll be happy for the rest of my life. The most random person could put a video in their house and I'd probably watch it for hours, just because people are fascinated by the way other people live. And so be authentic. There's that whole long story just for this tip, is be authentic. This one I'm going to throw in there. I wasn't going to add it because this would make more sense if I had my PowerPoint, but since I can't do my PowerPoint on this, I'm going to say it and hopefully it doesn't confuse you. But make your content shareable. And there's two categories of people. There's people who share amazing content, and there's people who are the amazing content. Both of these categories are great. If you're in the people who share crappy content category, you need to get out of that category because it's not going to do anything for your business. If you're posting blurry pictures, if you're posting something that's been posted so many times that it's probably blocked as spam and you can hardly read the words because it's so blurry, and then it says pic collage at the bottom, we're not going to talk about that category because you just want to get yourself out that category and into one of these other categories, which is share amazing content or be the amazing content. And my recommendation is for you to be the amazing content. When I kind of shifted that to being my goal, I maybe repost someone's picture. I don't think I do it all. I don't want to say that I haven't in a good 6 months to a year, because there may be one or two things that I have, so I don't want to say never do. But I really kind of think I create all of my own content. And when I say create shareable content, I'm not even talking about shareable amongst the Synagence world. Think bigger picture than that. You know, when I post a picture, let me try to pull one up from my Instagram. When I post a picture and I post it to Instagram, I want to make it so shareable that other companies are sharing my image to benefit themselves. So I will throw things into my pictures. Let me see if I can find one. Come on. Okay, here's one. Here's a couple. So here's a picture that I posted. And it's got lip balm and it's got my favorite Bath & Body Works pictures. I shared this and I've got my Farm Fancy in it. And I've had other companies repost my pictures to their page because they're trying to advertise for themselves. But my brand, the name is in there. And I don't normally I do a lot of my stuff with my Blackboard. Like this. So I use my letterboard, and all my letterboards have my Farm Fancy on it. But it's not so in your face that it's not shareable. So I've had Hobby Lobby repost some of my pictures. I've had a few small boutiques. Like if I get any boutique clothing, like these earrings, I will tag where I got it. And so I make my content so shareable that other businesses start it. And that's just a way to like turbo start your exposure. You want to get your name out as much as possible. And so when I say shareable, I'm not even talking about in the Synagence world. You want to be the amazing content for the bigger picture. Tip number 6. I'm going to hopefully try to hurry because I know this is probably going super long. Be consistent. Your brand is not going to be made in a couple of quick decisions. You can plan out your colors, your font, your colors, blah, 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 in 20 minutes. But it's going to take a while for people to start picking up on it. So there are times where when I first started doing my Farm Fancy branding, there were times where I was like, is this even doing anything? Nobody's saying anything. Am I wasting my time? But I refused to quit doing it. And so I just stayed consistent. I kept being super specific about what I was posting, how I was posting it, all of that. And you know, probably 3 months in, when I started getting all of those horribly graphic videos of chickens laying eggs and mini pigs frolicking around, that's when I knew that my brand was finally starting to get somewhere. And then when Dakota sent me this necklace, and I started getting other stuff in the mail, that's where I started realizing that my brand I'd been consistent enough for it to start being memorable to people. And now I'm the pig person. I go to corporate events and people are like, "Are you the girl with the pig?" And I'm like, "It's me. Me and Pork Chop. Now it's me and Matt. Pork Chop's 6 feet under." And then just, you don't have to start huge with your branding. You know, you want to start with, you know, your content, the color scheme, your font, and then you can start adding in. Did your brain ever change? Yes. I will talk about that in just a minute, Christine. It did change. I started doing things to just support my brand. And so now when I send out packages, I just use like the organza bags. I put my business card in them. And then I started hole punching. I got like a little pig-shaped hole punch and some blush colored paper. Fun fact, my Dominion color was blush. And then last month I officially changed it to pig pink because my pigs are basically like a blush color. So now my Dominion color is pig pink. And so we hole punch all these little pigs and we sprinkle this confetti into all of my packages. And it's just like the smallest random thing. But I get so many people who love getting, we call them pork chops. They love getting their little pork chops in the mail. And so you can just do little things. What's an organza bag? I don't know that I have one in here. Shay, if you're watching, bring me an organza bag so I can show them what an organza bag is if you don't know what that is. Oh yeah, okay, we'll go like that. Two more tiny tips. Branding is not an excuse to live on social media. You can have amazing branding online, and it's fairly easy to come up with your branding online, but you need to be carrying that branding into real person interactions. You know, I may be joining all of these Facebook groups for, you know, chicken farmers, pig mamas. Oh, here's one. Okay, here's an organza bag. These that you can get on Amazon for super cheap. And then these are my little pork chops. See, they're just like little pigs. Now they're little Macs. And we just sprinkle these into the bags. What was I saying? Oh, so I may be in all of these farm groups. Thanks, Shay. On Facebook, but you can bet your ass that on Saturday mornings, I set up my lip syncs at the local swap meet where I'm actually around all of my chicken farmer friends, all my livestock people, and I'm getting out there and making those relationships with them in real life. Don't let this be a reason that you hide behind your computer. You need to be getting out there. And here's my 2 cents on this. I feel like about 18 months ago, everyone started feeling like we were getting saturated in, you know, with home demos, and that there were just too many. People weren't coming anymore because there were just so many of them. And we all kind of migrated to the internet because that's what was up and coming. That was the new thing, moving to the Facebook demo. And I think that now, if you look at your events on your Facebook, I guarantee you've got like 60 parties, whether it be Synergence, Lip Syncs, Scentsy, oils, whatever. I bet your event is just filled with all these Facebook parties. People are so sick of Facebook parties. I've done a handful of live demos, like in-person demos in the last month, and in every single one of them, people have told me that they've been dying to get their hands on all this stuff, but nobody's doing home demos anymore. They're all just on Facebook. They want to play with the stuff. They want to come. So I think that we are slowly transitioning back into the traditional home demo. And I think that if you can get on board with that and figure that out now, before the rest of the world figures it out, you're going to be in a pretty sweet spot. I don't either, Kelly. No. Mm-mm. And even, no, I that's a whole nother story, but no, I don't really either. I'm over the Facebook demo. I mean, I still do them if I'm just not local to someone, but find some home demos to do. They're so much easier. They're so much fun. It's so much less work for such a bigger reward. So figure out your branding and find ways to bring that into real life. You know, if I do a vendor event, when Pork Chop was just a tiny little swine, I would set up a little cage and he would go and sleep in his little bed while I did my vendor event. And so, you know, I carry my Farm Fancy brand all over Facebook and I carry it into the real world. So if you're not in the real world, get up off your butt and go outside. That's your gift. Anyone would like to send me a morning gift for Pork Chop, that is it. Is get off your butt and go outside and do something. Not on Facebook. Except after, get on to watch these videos because they're fabulous. Oh, and I need to ask I have one more tip, but before I do, we have a giveaway. And we were all asked to give away one of our favorite things. And I've actually got two favorite things. And so you have to answer this question. So this is what you need to do. In 24 hours, I'm going to turn off the commenting and pick a winner. In order to enter for the giveaway, you need to comment below. And I think you need to fill out a form. There's a Google form. And so I'm going to copy and paste that into the comments when I'm done. You need to fill out that form and then comment in the comments a Christmas question that I'm going to ask. Let me think of what it is. Here's my question. Do you prefer live trees or do you prefer fake trees? And I will favor anyone who says live trees because I have 3 live trees in my house. So that is my question. Comment below. Tell me if you like a live tree or a fake tree and put who your crown princess is. Crown princess, answer the question, fill out the form, win something amazing. So here's what I'm giving away. Here are these are actually 2 of my favorite things. So first is this Cinnablue and Pig Pink stack of Aramish bracelets. I am basically known for all of my bracelets that I wear and my cuff that I get from Carrie Jo and Josie. And then I'm also going to throw in a Farm Fancy t-shirt since I'm talking all about my branding. So once I draw a winner, I will get with you and figure out your size. I will make sure you get the right size. So your CP, do you like a live tree or a fake tree? And make sure to fill out the form that I'm going to post in the comments. It's also on the page somewhere. And the last thing that I'm going to leave you guys with, I'm going to stay on and answer some questions. But the last thing that I want to tell you guys is love your brand. That's the most important part. Love your brand. If you're not in a position where you're just like obsessed with your brand, you need to get to where you're at that point. Like I said earlier, I started out as Smooch. That's what my business was for a good 18 months. And I loved Smooch. I was pretty proud of Smooch. I didn't feel like it was too cheesy. I've gotten girlier, but I'm not super girly. I'm not real makeup-y, even though, I love my red lips. But it didn't describe who I was. I liked it, but I feel like, I don't know that I would have walked into a room and just told anybody about Smooch. It didn't feel 100% authentically me, so I was a little bit guarded with it. And so then I kind of evolved into Farm Fancy. And basically Farm Fancy came about because when I was Smooch, I would post pictures of us down here on this little farm, and my hashtag was always Farm Fancy. Because this is what I always look like. I always have my bracelets on. I typically have bright red lips on. I always have my nails done. And then I'm knee deep in chicken poop. So Farm Fancy it described our life down here. And that's when I was like, I'm not Smooch, I'm Farm Fancy. That is like me to the core. And that's when I made the transition. And now I could walk into a room with the Pope in it and I would be like, did you want me to tell you about Farm Fancy? Because I think it's like the coolest thing ever that I've got these pigs and these peacocks that just live amongst me and down here on my little farm. Like I couldn't be more proud of my brand. Everything that I have screams. I guess my purse isn't in here. I've got my farm cuff. I've got one that says Fancy. I've got my purse strap that says Farm Fancy. I wear my t-shirts. My husband wears our t-shirts. And one of the coolest things that happened is when I made that switch and I found, you know, what I really felt like where I was supposed to be with my business. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for 2 years, and I have 2 sisters, and I have several best friends, and they all knew I did LipSense, but none of them ever seemed that interested. And I'm not the type that I push it on people. They know that I do it. If they wanted more information, they can ask me about it, and they never did. When I made that switch to Farm Fancy, and I found my sweet spot, and my excitement, like, went through the roof, and that was showing to other people. Both of my sisters, my absolute best friend, they all signed up within like 6 weeks of each other. And they were basically like, we want what you've, like, we want that. That's what we want. So we need you to help us get that. And I obviously I'm not selling anything different. I'm still selling the LipSense and the Synergence. But now that I have found, you know, my passion and my excitement, I'm attracting people in a whole different level. My entire business has changed since I, you know, figured out my branding and it's just so authentically me that it's disgusting. So if you aren't in a position where your brand is basically your baby, where you're not comfortable walking up to the Queen of Sheba and being like, did you want to know about Farm Fancy? Because I'll tell you about it. And with full confidence that she's going to think it's basically the most amazing thing also, then you need to get to that spot. That's where I want everybody to be. I want you to love your brand and to feel like you found where you're supposed to be. So, that's how I feel about branding. Shay and I are going to go through some questions and answer some. Okay, do we have some questions?
What app gives you the specific colored numbers?
Somebody asked what app gives you that specific code, and basically any app. I use Canva for most of my graphics, and if you go, you know, like usually there's specific colors, and then you can go to where it has like the big color wheel, and it's going to give you a code. That code is it's universal. It's going to be the same code on any app if you can type it in, and it's usually something like F30021, like something random, which is why I write it down.
What apps do you use for your graphics?
What apps do I use for my graphics? I used to use WordSwag and Typorama a lot, but now that I've kind of upped my graphic game, Shay and I, here, let me introduce you to Shay. Here's Shay. This is my lovely assistant who makes all life happen for me. Shay and I do all the photography for my brand. So if you look at my Instagram, it's all photography we've taken. So that, it helps. And then the apps that I use to create other graphics is Canva is my big thing. Like when I make graphics for Facebook demos, I get on creativemarket.com and you can buy themed bundles of like clip art and backgrounds. I buy one of those and upload it to my Canva and create things through that. Next question.
Do you watermark or copyright your brand?
I do. Since I do all my own photography, 90% of the time we have like my letterboard in it or something that says Farm Fancy on it. I try to not have to watermark, but yes, my brand is always somewhere in the picture. So if it's not in the picture, we do watermark with Farm Fancy. And yes, my Farm Fancy, I paid to have trademarked. I bought all the the domains and stuff. So I have the website, the emails, and that kind of stuff. And then I legally trademarked Farm Fancy.
Someone asked, she said she has a baking Instagram. Would you cross-post?
Okay, somebody said they have a baking Instagram. Would you cross-post? I would. That's kind of what works for me. I used to have an Instagram that was, you know, my personal Instagram. And then I had like my business Instagram. Well, I started finding that when I tried to make it super separate, I found that I was only posting Synergence stuff in my business one, and that bored the crap out. Like, I was so bored. I was like, how many times can I post a selfie or a lip color like that? It wasn't exciting me. It seemed like a chore to get on and post. So that's kind of when I started migrating to Farm Fancy, and I don't even have a personal page anymore. All of my content involves my house and my brand. I mean, it has products sprinkled in, not every picture. It has my kids in it, but it all fits within my brand. So it's relevant to my brand and my business, but it's also relevant to my personal life. So I only have one account now. So I think if you do it right, you can cross promote. I wouldn't say that I would do a picture of you baking and then have some super producty post. I would find a way to you need to find a way for them to like intermingle. Does that make sense? Like maybe a picture of you burning yourself and then showing that you put Name Guy on it. You know what I mean? Like something that makes sense with both of your things if you're going to do that. How do you trademark your name? I'm going to try to catch some of these comments now. My brother-in-law is an attorney, and so he did it for me. It is a little bit expensive. I think it's like $500 because you have to pay to have it trademarked. He doesn't charge me for like the work. I think that is just what the cost is. You have to fill out a form with all these questions, your location, real specifics about what your business is and all of that, and then they approve it. Oh, Lipsis says a candle and cupcake. That's cute. Shay, do we have any other questions? Shay's coming. Oh, somebody asked what a letter... Here's my letterboard. Which is... I'm a little bit pissed off at Hobby Lobby because I feel like I kind of cornered the letterboard market in our Synergent stuff. And now everybody and their dog has one that I'll share. But this is our letterboard. I do a daily quote. And we take a picture of my letterboard with somewhere around the farm with other stuff in it. And it always says, oh shoot, it always says Farm Fancy on it. So I do a daily post with this.
You hashtag companies?
Yes. Do we hashtag companies?
We at them. Like we
Yeah,
tag them.
we don't hashtag the company, but like when you post on Instagram, you can tag people. And I will tag the company because then they will get a notification that they've been tagged in a picture. And that is where, if they're going to repost my picture, that's typically where they see it and decide that they're going to repost it. And then we will usually do like the at Hobby Lobby and tag them that way. So I don't know that we hashtag them, but we do tag them.
Someone doesn't have a demo kit. How do you do demos without the kit?
Somebody said they don't have a demo kit. How do I do demos without the kit? I guess I make my own kit. All you need is a couple of tester colors, some tester wands, and you can make a demo out of anything. So I guess you make your own is what I would do.
What site do you purchase bundles from?
Somebody asked, what site do I purchase the clip art bundles for when I make graphics? And it's called creativemarket.com.
Where do you make the most sales? Demos, Facebook party, or vendor event?
Somebody asked, where do I make the most sales? Probably Facebook and demos and get like friends and family and stuff like that. I do a lot of Facebook sales, and then I also do a lot of sales if I do a home demo. I do small vendor events. I've never done a huge vendor event, and I need to. That's what I need to do. But that's where I get most of my sales.
What do you do if you're in a small town and 3 distributors with local vendor events?
Okay, somebody asked, what do I do when you live in a small town, there's 3 distributors, and you're trying to get into the local vendor events? I'm kind of in a similar situation. I have recently moved to a small town, and there are several other distributors here, and there's those local events, same scenario. I feel like since I've moved here in the past year, I've gotten to be really good friends with the community. Like, we go to a local cafe. The owners are really good friends of mine. The girl who works there, we've gotten to be really good friends. The postmaster in our tiny town, I mean, we don't even have a real post office. I mean, it's like all handwritten. We've gotten really close with her. So I guess my strategy is I'm kind of just building a relationship with the community before I just come in and try to start doing all the vendor events. That's my strategy as of current. Or create your own. Somebody said create your own. Yes, I'm doing Farm Fancy Christmas market on Tuesday, and I'm creating it myself. I'm doing a vendor event here in my home with about 10 vendors. So yes, I like that. Create your own. That's what I do. It's also what I do.
The one that asked about demo kits said she meant for full face demos that become unavailable due to out of stock.
If you're having trouble doing full face demos because it's come out of stock, I would probably try to get with someone who had it and see if you can work something out where you can, work together. I've got several people who aren't even on my team that I would feel comfortable calling and being like, hey, can we get together? I don't have this, this, or this, so I can do a demo and then find some sort of trade.
When you first started, how do you start your stock, or any tips on how to start with very little money?
That's a good question. Kristen Slough, her video tonight is going to be on how to build a queendom with no money, and I'm sure she's going to talk about it. But just start slow. You don't have to have a million colors, even if you just have a red, a pink, a nude, and a gloss. I mean, just start there, and then with each order, slowly start adding one or two things to your stock is what I do. Tabitha Hancock, who's on my downline, she's a Ruby CP. She has a really great training on the ordering cycle, and I think it's on YouTube. She might be on here, and she could probably share it, but she talks about an ordering cycle and how to start from nothing and slowly build to a big, having a good amount of stock and that type of stuff.
What do you do about negative comments / people nagging about prices?
I don't feel like I get a whole lot of people nagging about prices. I think that people kind of pick up on your energy, and so I don't know, that's not a thing for me, and I feel like I don't know that I can answer that very well. I don't know the last time I had somebody complain about the price. If they did, I would probably just, show them that, it's not like you're paying $25 for the same tube of lipstick you get at Walmart. You kind of just have to show them that it's not a high price. You're paying for what you're getting. And show them that. Okay, I'm going to hop off because I know that I've gone like forever over my time. Sorry about it. But I will get on and I will answer any questions that I see on here. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. I will try to get to those. Make sure to enter the giveaway with, your crown princess. Do you like a live or fake tree? And fill out the form. And I'm sorry that I cried for like the first 5 minutes of my video. That was not my intention. I really didn't think I was going to cry. So, thank you for bearing with me. I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any other questions on branding, just let me know. Thank you guys.